right, here we go. Or should I say, hey, how are ya? Welcome, Stevies. My name is Blake Helm. This is the Post Game Spread podcast. You are now listening to the Mike Seander story, Mike Stud, whatever you want to call him. Mike goes by a lot of names. Guy's had a journey, an absolute journey through the game of baseball. You might know him as your favorite musical artist now, myself included. But before that, before all that, before Mike Stud was Mike Seander, the baseball player. Some say he had the best slider in the country. Many agree. You're going to hear from some incredible people from his history, from his past, teammates, his parents, friends, coaches. Let me do a rundown of that. It's going to be Mike Seander Sr., Mary Seander, Mom and Dad, Matthew Boggs, not Matt, Will Courier, Alex Hassan, Ryan McCurdy, Chris Mano, Marcus Stroman, Dave Turgeon, Sean Snedeker, Jim Mello, Nick Wamond, or DJ Faber, and last but not least, John Kilmer. This is a true deep dive into Mike's journey, what he has been through, the trials and tribulations, the surgeries, the wins and losses, trying to come back, losing who you are, finding who you are, pivoting and taking that fire, that competitive flame, and turning that into a rap career, an artist. It's all beautiful. So I finally got to sit down with him here for part one. It looks like we're going to have multiple parts. This is so special. I know you Stevies are going to love this out here. So try to enjoy it. I did. It was an absolute moment for me. Started this podcast about 3 years ago, and the first guest that I thought of was Mike. And I messaged him on Instagram. Didn't hear anything back. And, you know, every 3-6 months, would just shoot him another one. Like, hey, man, I got this podcast. I think this would be so up your alley. Every time I listen to the YNK, I hear little bits and pieces of your story, and I want to hear so much more. And finally got his attention, and our alignment was in the right place, and I followed my intuition, and here I am. So a very special moment for me and the Post Game Spread podcast. I know you Stevies are going to love it. So here we go. The Mike Seander story, part one, a toast to Tommy. You ready? Here we go. All right. What's up, y'all? Before we get into the podcast here, I want to acknowledge all of my sponsors, and I'm in somewhat of a unique position here because I have local stories to Central Illinois or Springfield, but I also do national stories as well. So my national sponsors are Birdman Bats, Jack's Batting Gloves right here, and Clean Fuego. Go check them out. Highly believe in all these guys. Locally, Washco Strength and Speed, Overtime Training Academy, Body Symmetry, Milner Dentistry, Bank of Springfield, Sitco Chiropractic, Glisson Heating and Air, Eric Easley the Realtor, The Office Sports Bar and Grill, Hammers Radon Mitigation, Cardinal Cleaning, GT Performance Consulting, Safe House Illinois, Hudson Chiropractic in Cape Girardeau, Missouri, the Shamrocks Baseball and Softball Club, Flow Yoga, Hurwitz Enterprises, and Salvaggio Steel. We are also supported by the Kaiser family. We appreciate you guys. One. All right, guys. Welcome back to another episode of the Post Game Spread. This one is very special. This is going to be the Mike Seander story. Sitting across from me here, you might know him as Mike Stud, Mike Seander, now going by just Mike or Mike. This is the Post Game Spread. My name is Blake Helm. And what this is a deep dive into a player's career, an athlete, someone interesting within baseball and what they have been through, the trials and tribulations, the wins and the losses, the lessons. There's so much failure built into it. Our motto is a journey worth remembering. So before I really turn it over to my guy here, I'm going to go through all the background, who I spoke to, why I think the story needs to be told, and then also why I am uniquely connected to this story and why it's so special. So this is an absolute moment for me. So let me just start running here. Many of you know him as Mike, the recording artist, formerly Mike Stud. But before all that came, my man possessed what some call the best slider in the country. Dicing up the ACC in 2007 as Duke's closer, named an All-American, still possesses the single season lowest ERA in Duke history, 1.61 before his UCL blew up and his path changed forever. He got named to the NECBL All-Star Game, pitched briefly in the Cape. Prior to Duke and becoming the musical artist, Mike was a two-sport standout hailing from Cranston, Rhode Island via St. Raphael Academy, where he was All-State in basketball and baseball, Division Player of the Year, Further down the rabbit hole, I went down the rabbit hole, my guy. 1999 winner of the Rhode Island Diamond Skills 9 and 10-year-old pitching and throwing competition. And I think there's some cool stories there too. So 2005, 2006 Rhode Island Gatorade Player of the Year. You won multiple all defensive and gold gloves in youth tournaments growing up. Mary sent me some of those pictures and I got some of that, my guy. So the background interviews, this was so cool. And for those of you that don't know, this is probably a half a year in the making from when you kind of gave me the green light to like, yo, go do your thing, follow your intuition to we're sitting here. So here we go. I spoke with your dad, Mike Seander Sr., an absolute unit. Sent me some pictures of him back in the day. Wow. And I've actually formed a legit friendship with him. Like we go back and forth. We talk about like workout stuff and supplements and fatherhood and stuff. So your dad, in a way, your very first spiritual teacher. I spoke with Mary, your mom. You spoke about her as like, having the mom gene. I absolutely agree. So nurturing, so sweet. We formed a friendship too. We're texting back and forth. We were texting yesterday. She sent me shirts. So there was one Stephen Mingle where some guy was like, I got the one of 200 jerseys. Does anyone have a shirt that Mary Seander sent them personally? And that's what's right behind me right here. She sent me a whole gift basket of like all kinds of stuff. So shout out to Mary. You are a real one. I've enjoyed that so much. Matthew Boggs, not Matt. The assistant coach while you were at Duke, spoke with him. Will Courier, funny dude, teammate at Duke, former Army Ranger. Alex Hassan, teammate at Duke, former big leaguer, current assistant GM for the Twins. Ryan McCurdy, your catcher at Duke, former Astros minor leaguer. Chris Mano, teammate at Duke, former pro in the Reds Nationals organization, current musician. Go check his music out. Some dude named Marcus Stroman. Man, that was really cool. I don't have to say anything about that guy. Dave Turgeon recruited you to Duke, currently running IMG Baseball. Sean Snedeker, Sned, your guy. What a cool dude, man. I so thoroughly enjoyed talking to him. Pitching coach at Duke while you were there. Current Baylor pitching coach. Pitched professionally in the Dodgers organization. Jim Mello, your high school basketball and baseball coach. DJ Fader, Nick Waman, your tour manager, day one. And then last but not least, John Kilmer. An absolute honor to talk to him. He's been your right-hand man since day one. He does it all. We ended up, he was supposed to give me a half hour and we talked for an hour and a half. And we've talked about,
he can yap.
Dude, it was just so cool talking to him and getting to, it's like I've listened to every YNK ever, so I almost feel like I know you guys in a way. And I think a lot of your fans probably feel that way. So we picked right up. We've talked about even putting that out as a podcast and maybe having him on as a guest because I just so respect him.
Really, he's really good at it too. He's incredible.
Yeah. So in prep for this, I've listened to every YNK pod that you've ever done, but I did that previously because I am a real Steve. But I went back and listened to specific ones like baseball ones, Just Mike, the ones with your parents. Kilmer gave me a few that he thought would be beneficial, and there were some absolute gems in there. I've listened to every podcast that you've done with someone else. So, like Coach HP and Short Story Long. I even went that far back to with drama. I've seen all the This Is My Stud. I've watched every Touring Is Boring. I've been on it, my guy. I'm an only Steve's, so the amount of content that I have within me, it's pouring out. So we're going to get it out in this story. Why I think this story needs to be told and worth a deep dive. Like I said, I've been a listener of the YNK. It's amazing. I wish it would come back at some point, but you're doing your thing. I remember you giving short snips of your baseball career. And I always saw it as a way to like connect with the athletes and just say like, we're kind of the same. I've been where you're at. I know what it is, to be an athlete at the highest level. Same cloth type of thing. So I always thought there's so much more there, right? And so much worth exploring that a part of you needed to look back and reflect on this period more, tell some stories, give some gratitude to others. And I think this kind of naive belief that you had at the beginning of your music career stems from your baseball career and that confidence of like, I can do this, I can bully my way through this stuff. I'm the man, I can figure it out. I think your confidence and drive, allowed you to make it first in the music business. That's my own thoughts though. Let's see, the YNK. Oh, more on the YNK before I get into like my deep stuff here. But the YNK podcast was so cool watching you kind of grow in front of us, from this coming out of Mike Stud, and even it was fascinating hearing you use like the partying and the booze as like a muse as you were becoming more spiritual, and how that slowly faded out and you've gone on different paths here. But I felt like so many of us have been on that path with you too, like as we age and like you
Yeah.
can't keep living that life forever, So,
Mm-mm.
and another thing that I loved is that you never came across as like a guru type guy. Like you were just sharing what you learned with us in a
I'm
very humble way.
far from it, so
That's
I'm
what,
happy.
but that's beautiful because so many people get into the spiritual realm and they start talking like they know stuff, like it's theirs and like
Uh-huh.
they're above people. But I never got that sense. All humble with you, so beautiful. Um, before we get really, some of the major themes that I think are going to be interesting: the belief in yourself, the confidence, the rise and the fall of your athletic career, the struggle of fighting back and never regaining form, pivoting and using the confidence that sauce to come back. You said in the Coach HP podcast that you wouldn't be where you're at today without the discipline and patience that you learned through baseball. So we're going to hear about all that. Now I'm going to get into my little wink part here. This is going to be a little long-winded, so bear with me, Michael. Are we doing okay, brother?
Doing great. I'm worried about how we're gonna do this in a span of even 3 hours.
Dude,
Because
we'll
I don't
see.
think there's anyone. I mean, not to interject, but this is why I'm here.
Yeah.
I don't do media.
Yeah.
We can get into the why.
Sure.
It's not anything, that you probably don't already know, but the level of passion, interest, genuine energy, and then also diligence, and genuine interest,
Yeah.
is the reason I'm here, that
I
you
appreciate
that
it.
you portrayed, and that became pretty apparent pretty quickly for me. So, yeah, I'm honored to be
Good.
here, and
Yeah.
that's why I haven't done this. I don't even know. It's been 5 years, probably 4 or 5 years
Yeah, dude,
since I've
I
done an
have not
interview.
seen you pop up on any podcast since 2023. So it is not lost on me the importance of this. And I know that you're kind of feeling called away from that, not asking for people's attention all the time and things like that. So,
Yeah,
dude, I am so grateful that you're here with me and
you
giving
earned
me
it.
the greatest gift that is time. So thank you,
It's an
brother. This is so
alignment, my guy.
special.
It's all alignment.
Let's go, man. So here we go. I have to tell you guys why this is so special and why I'm connected to it here. The ultimate wink from the universe, and you told me to do this part here. So 3 years ago, I started this podcast as a way to get back into the game. I had a wild ride through baseball myself, 5 surgeries in college, went to Murray State, draftable guy, big time tools, body fell apart. Um, you were the very first person that I thought of to do this podcast. And I messaged you before I even had made an episode. And for me to be sitting here in front of you today is just like wild. So manifestation is real. Dreams are real. Keep going. So what a beautiful wink from the universe that I'm in the right place. So
Mhm.
no one can help you tell this story like me. Our parallels are so wild. So I'm going to tell you and the listeners now why this is so connected. Um, I know what it feels like to fight back from surgery, same as you. I know what it feels like to be a lesser version of yourself, a shit bum, right? After surgery. Never to be
Yeah.
the same, but showing up every day and still believing like that you can get it back and fighting back. The more you fight, the more it slips away. I know what it feels like to see your dreams, future, and identity slip away. And who am I if I'm not this baseball player or who I thought I was going to be or who everyone thought I was going to be?
Mhm.
There's deep lessons in that. I think you never know and keep going. All the seeds from that is from your baseball career. It's my own personal thoughts, but I also had the transition from a guy who thought life was about being a star athlete and getting the chicks to a more spiritual life, a more principled life. I lived a very Peter Pan life for many years. I am a Taoist as well. I read the Tao Te Ching every morning. Wayne Dwyer is my guy. Let me show you this real quick, dude. And I showed you this, but ugh, this is the Mike Mega Pack for all the books.
That's literally the fucking Stevenson starter pack right
It
there.
is, dude. This is the Mega Pack. So
Not even starter pack. It's like the forever pack.
it's the Forever Pack. So we've read all the same books. I've used psychedelics similarly to you in a way to open up my mind, to heal myself, to understand myself. This is cool here too. So I've been a Steve since the Toast to Tommy, dude, since the very beginning. And
Mhm.
like I said, I had this wild ride through baseball where I quit baseball after college, joined the military, did 4 years of active duty military, kept having these dreams
Thank
that my
you for your
story wasn't
service.
done. And I made this comeback. I said I have to get into professional baseball and finish this. And so I joined a men's league. I was on the U.S. military all-star baseball team, a reality show with Cal Ripken, and then I ended up playing 2 years of professional baseball. And the soundtrack through that whole comeback, every workout, every hitting session, every hour-long drive by myself was a toast to Tommy. And it put me in this place where I was like confident. I believe in myself. I can do this. And
Mhm.
then fast forward, and I'm almost done here, so sorry, but
No, no worries. I'm
in
actually texting Versace to bring in some of my books and journals because they're not in here.
let's go, buddy. I'm a journaler too, man. I started doing it because of you. But in 24 of December, I was retired from firefighting. So I did 14 years of firefighting, 4 in the military, 8 as a civilian. Went through hell. I got retired with PTSD. I saw a bunch of gnarly pediatric deaths, and had to go to rehab for PTSD, all kinds of things. I've seen hell, but the through all of that, the highs was my counterbalance, dude. It was what I needed to, keep me balanced as things were low. And
Mhm.
so many, like, I driving to work with tears in my eyes, listening to that or leaving, and just it meant so much to me. And
It's
just that you
amazing,
have been
man.
the soundtrack through some really pivotal parts in my story. And I know the in betweens are going to be there too when it's ready. So,
Mhm.
all right, man, I'm going to turn it back over to you. What's up, my guy? I'm done talking there. What's up?
I don't want to glance over that. I think again, that's why we're here, and
Yeah.
this is a lot about what being a Steve is following your interests and passions,
Yeah.
and being willing to peel back the layers of your life, look deeply into your life,
Yeah.
look deeply into yourself, and pay attention. Living creatively is paying attention. One of the books I'm revisiting right now is the Rick
Yeah.
Rubin The Creative Act, I believe
Oh,
it's called. But
fantastic.
just really hit the nail on the head in regards to paying attention to your life
Yeah.
and the feedback that the world and your world experience, your life experience is mirroring back to you.
Yeah.
These are the things that you need to heal. You were born into your nature, and you have these experiences that happen on the timeline of your life, and what are they
Yeah.
saying to you? Where are they leading you? And I'm sure you have your days just like everyone else where you're in and out of feeling like you're in alignment, but I'm happy to be a
Absolutely.
part of an alignment moment for you. And
Yeah.
it's crazy to even I don't talk to a lot of people. I talk to the Steves a lot, so
Yeah.
yeah, but this is just on my phone, on
Sure.
DMs and stuff, and it's always really it's always very eye-opening to, get these rare opportunities where, technically I could be doing these every day and feel this
Of
way,
course.
but
Yeah.
it's even more special when it doesn't happen. You get to talk to someone who, I was making these songs with no idea what was to come from it, or who would hear it, or what it would feel like, or how it would impact anybody, and to see it in the flesh that it's impacted positively on people like yourself. I'm very aware of that with the
Yeah.
Steves. Like I think I do a really good job. I make a real intentional effort to be tuned
Absolutely.
into the impact, because I
Yeah.
think that's the lifeblood of what I've done and what I am doing. And it's really cool. And not to glance over your story, I mean, it's a reason why we're here
Yeah.
is the engine that you had towards this, and
Yeah.
just the energy that I felt from it. I could tell that it was gonna be a divine thing. We got a special guest here. Steve,
Steve, tell me. Let's go.
come here, Steve.
Man.
Oh,
Stevie?
there he is. Can you see him?
Oh,
There he
what's
is.
up, guy? Yeah. I can see Stevie. Man.
Thank you, sir. Oh, I
How
got
old's like
my
he's gotta be 8 or 9 now. How old's Stevie? Oh, let's go, buddy. Let's
this is
go.
this is just a new wave. A new wave.
Yeah.
Got a bunch I'll put over here. Steve's getting up there, man. Steve's probably I think Steve's 10, almost he's approaching 11.
Wow.
So yeah, we got him, I think
Man.
2016. So yeah,
Time's
he's
flying, guy. Wow.
you just hit the nail on the head. I live a very slow life
Yeah.
now by design.
Sure.
Not necessarily slow, as far as there's more happening than ever in our business world and what we've curated and created here with the Steves, and
Yeah.
just trying to elevate it and make it special as we go. But um, yeah, I mean, it's I've talked about time a bunch recently with some of the people I'm here with, just how time my relationship to time, I feel is I have a luxury of
Yeah.
not being in a race every day.
Yeah.
But even still, for somebody like me, I'm aware. I'm like, man, for people who have kids and jobs and things that like these tangible, I have to show up here and be here and the accountability,
Yeah.
just understanding how fast time must be moving for them and have finding the time. Like, even when you say like I've watched all these, I've listened to this, I've watched, just with the amount of content that exists in the world, and then you having kids in your life and a career and and then passion projects, and
Yeah.
I tip my cap, and it's really made more of a it's made me, my undertone towards everyone is just like a level of acceptance and humility. I got great respects for all people who are walking, all humans really, who are, I mean, obviously there's outliers and people who are maybe have evil in them or do bad things, but
Yeah.
overall my general scope is just like I have a mutual respect for all humans, because I understand how fast time moves, and I
Yeah.
understand how hard it is to manage your life being born into this society and how it's structured and what's prioritized. And I feel like I'm just in a super luxurious, privileged position to remove myself from that and
Yeah.
just and have these observations and reflections and live like an artist, and
Yeah.
that's kind of why I feel as though I've made it this far, is just dedicated myself to seeing the world through an artist's perspective and really looking deeply into life.
That was such a beautiful answer, and I have to think that you have afforded this time and this space to be who you are now and grow spiritually because of your baseball career, right? And
Mhm.
you've said it before that you wouldn't have got your foot in the door the way that you did if you weren't that dude from Duke that was the closer. Like, oh, let's hear what this guy has to say, So
Mhm.
it is wild to see how far you have grown and come to, man. I mean, it's
Wow,
special.
to me too.
Yeah, right,
Yeah, it
dude.
really is. Especially now, we're kind of hitting. It's an interesting time to have this conversation. It's just hitting a tier that, I
Yeah,
mean, I got journals. This is the current journal. I think I'm like 30% in here, but 10, 20 journals stacked up to the ceiling of,
man.
there was straight up quantum journals where I would just simply thank the universe for things that I'd say thank you for getting $100,000 a
Right,
show. Thank you, all these things that I was nowhere near, but
right.
already thanking the universe on
But
a
that came
quantum.
true.
Yeah, just like literally speaking to the
Crazy.
universe
Yeah,
in the journal, saying thank you for bringing these things to me, even though I was getting
yeah,
$10,000 a show at that time.
yeah,
And my point of bringing that up is like, just in this last couple of years, like I stopped the quantum journaling. I actually had a shift in like, I don't ask for specific things so much. I feel like I've been given so much.
yeah,
I don't want to keep taking as
yeah.
much. And
Abundance.
my goals in my quantum journal now is about peace and happiness and supporting my family and those
Beautiful.
types of things, but it's not tangible, like Think and Grow Rich. Hey, I need this much money in my account by this. And,
Yeah,
it started in the ego more. Like
for
my
sure.
ego wanted these things. So let
Yeah,
me use my spiritual sense to then achieve my ego's dreams.
yeah,
And now it's shifted. My point of saying this is like, in these last years, I've realized that it's far surpassed what I even manifested. You know what I
man.
mean? Even though I stopped those quantum asks about tangible, specific numbers,
Yeah,
we're now in a place 3, 4, or 5 times the size of even where I was dreaming then.
crazy.
And it's really just it's such a rewarding feeling to be there. I know it's not lost on me how I'm lucky, like
Yeah,
I could be talented or I could be hardworking, all the things we're going to talk about, right?
sure.
Um, all these gifts that technically that's what my spiritual work has led me to, is just I'm truly lucky and blessed. Even, yes, I did the work. Yes, I have
Yeah.
maybe this is God's gift, talent. Yes, I have these things, but I didn't do anything for those. Yes,
Yeah.
I did the work to curate it, but
Yeah.
I didn't give myself the mind to be able to
Right.
do this.
That was
I
gifted
didn't
to you.
Yeah, I didn't get my parent I didn't choose my like, maybe I did on the soul's journey choose my parents, but in this material
Great book.
world, I great book. In this material world, like, I got a lucky hand.
Yeah.
So for me to be anything other than humble and grateful is a
Beautiful.
slap in the face to the universe, in my opinion. And I'm trying to honor that,
Shit.
stay in alignment with that as much as I can. I think
Yeah.
those are my goals now more than anything, is just
Yeah.
stay in alignment with gratitude and my perspective. Like, and I'll catch my mind going and complaining about this or that, but just
Yeah.
just having an awareness and a control over your mind's thoughts has been really fruitful for me. And I think that's probably the main thing I've tried to tell the Steves without being a guru. Like, hey,
Right.
these things this is just a relationship to life that you can curate.
Man.
I'm not trying to say follow me. I'm trying to say follow you.
Oh,
You know what I mean? Like, it's
shit.
not
That's
about
good.
anything I got to say. Even the
Follow
shit that
you.
I say that might be cool or moving or maybe in a certain way, it's not even me.
Yeah.
These are universal truths. I didn't come up with them. I'm
Man.
not a fucking guru at all. And
Dude.
they're just the things that I've come in contact with that I know through my experience have really brightened my life's view.
Yeah.
And I want that for everybody.
Man.
Nothing more, nothing less.
So beautiful. What do you think 18-year-old Mike would have said if he could have heard what you just said right there?
I don't think he even understand.
Right? It would be like,
Yeah, and I think if anything, I'm a beacon of change. Like, and
yeah.
there's millions of people out there that are probably better examples of change. You yourself probably. You know what I mean? You went through harder shit, and just your little spiel about you downplaying all the hard shit you went through, like, you went through harder shit than I did. So,
It's
I'm
relative.
talking to you in the same it's a peer thing. Like, this
Yeah.
is what I'm saying in general. Like, the best thing you can do is just be willing and open to change. I
Beautiful.
literally was a big fucking dumbass. You know what I mean? Like, yeah, like now,
Yeah.
like, I don't even. It's hard for me because I actually feel like I'm a new person a lot.
Yeah.
So I don't want to. Sometimes it's hard for me to even remember. Like, I can't really recall how I was thinking.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I literally was just like
Well, we're gonna
I
jog
was
your
just
memory during this.
I was just chasing something I had, some drive
A
I had
dream.
in me.
Yeah.
Again, God's gift, like that.
Yeah.
I didn't put that drive in me. It was
Right.
there. Maybe
Yeah.
my dad helped, I'm sure
Sure.
he did help. My mom made me feel super supported and felt like I could abundance and felt like
Yeah.
I could do anything in the world.
Uh-huh.
Those are all gifts. Very lucky.
Gifts. My God.
And, now when I look back at the journey, it's like the one thing I can truly say without having to jog my memory is the best thing I ever did was change.
Yeah.
Be willing to change, be open to change. That was a huge spiritual unlock for me when I realized I don't have to be this way. I don't have to subscribe to this is the way I am.
Right.
You know what I mean? That
Yeah.
that felt there was a big unlock of freedom there for me to explore who I could be, that invigorated my life in a time that I really needed it.
Man.
And then obviously I went on to share that with the fans a lot in real
Yeah.
time. Like, if you go back, you go back, watch the first episodes of the podcast. I'm just a kid.
Hilarious.
I don't know what
Hilarious.
the fuck I'm
Yes.
talking, like, I'm just, my eyes are just starting to open, you
Yes.
know? And not that I'm some monk now, although I live a lot more.
But the growth from that episode to where you're at now is crazy.
It is, it is. And I think that's what I'm trying to say is, like, just empowering anyone who hears this, that, like, you can change anything.
You can.
You can change anything about yourself
Yeah.
that you don't want to, that doesn't serve you,
You talked about brainwashing yourself, journaling, brainwashing yourself over years of like making yourself
years.
happy, grateful, abundance, all these things. And you're living proof of that process.
Yeah. And I think, that it's interesting, right? I've been journaling a ton, just reflecting, and it- it's, it's hard to put it into words, but you can't guiding, guiding yourself through life. That is the ultimate creator. You you are the ultimate creator. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like I really, that's kind of what I've landed on, is just, you can get into the quantum physics of things and, manifestation and alignment and what the science says. And it's truly been my experience that if you learn to control your mind and you understand that you can be a creator, that we're no longer like here just hoping life goes well. Like you can take the steering wheel and you can
Man.
you can actually like dance with life. You can collaborate. You can be a co-creator with God,
Yeah.
And that's not to get too deep too fast, but that's, if anything, that's how I feel. That's how I feel about this.
Yeah.
That's I know I don't know why I got called so firmly to spirituality,
Yeah.
but I did. And
Yeah.
again, that's just another gift. Like, yeah, I went and did the work. Yes, I brainwashed myself for years or a
Yeah.
decade, you know, literally a decade of
Yes.
brainwashing myself towards gratitude and towards alignment and towards acceptance.
Beautiful.
And yeah, when I look back, again, I don't do this a whole lot, but when I really, that's all. That's my main. That's my
Man.
main notion.
Oh, man. Dude, I bet you probably mentioned the 7 spiritual laws of success more than any other book, right? That was your
Word.
thing for a long time. Who put you onto that?
I actually came across it. Um, I don't want to falsely speak here. My memory is not great. You'll realize that throughout this conversation.
Well,
I'm
that's why
not
we
a
got all these
huge
clips for you,
I'm
buddy.
not a huge past guy. Like I don't recognize the past a whole lot.
Yeah.
I don't want to misspeak, but I believe I came across the 7 spiritual laws through um I think I started on YouTube, and
Really?
I just started poking around, and
Yeah.
I came across Wayne Dyer. I came across,
Wayne's a guy.
some Deepak Chopra stuff that
Yeah.
was, and it really was like a intuitive journey.
Yeah.
Like I don't even like taking credit for it. I don't know
Yeah.
why I got called to it, but I can give
Be
you
clear.
an answer. Like I was in a period of my life where I was realizing I'm not even truly present.
Yeah.
Like I'm not even really like, what is it all for? You know what I mean? And there was a big part. It was a tumultuous time. Like I went on this mad dash to go create Mike Stud, and then it worked.
Yeah.
And then, there was a lull in it where it was like, all right, well, I got the house. We're in LA. I got the famous friends. I'm famous,
Yeah.
kind of.
Right.
I've
Yeah, yeah.
gotten a lot more, I guess, since
Yes.
when I got called to this.
Right.
And I was realizing that none of that did anything for me,
Mhm.
and then I started to realize that if I don't start changing my perspective, I'm going to be 90-year-old and still thinking, eh, you know, and just almost like I wasn't there for it all, you
Yeah.
know?
Oh, shit.
And
Damn,
what's
that's
the
good.
point in getting there if you're not even going to be there?
If you're not there for it. Damn.
So
Yeah.
I started to have that, I guess, subtle realization, and then an intuitive draw to spirituality, to
Yeah.
literature. I mean, I was a great student,
Yeah.
technically, but I
Yeah.
hated it. I only was doing it as a competitive person.
Right.
I was a cheat. I knew I needed to get a great scholarship. So
Right.
my family didn't have money like that,
Sure.
So it was part of the game,
Yeah.
you know, and in reflection now, I realized that the ego shouldn't be demonized, like it's this, we're human and being, like we're here to be human,
Yeah.
and um I just realized that I was only 1,000,000% my human ego, and
Yeah.
my spirit wasn't in the room with us. Like
Man.
it wasn't it was if it was there, but it wasn't turned on, and the lens wasn't clear there. So you know,
Man.
realizing that the ego's dreams and desires, I need to do this. I need to
Yeah.
be the man. Okay, baseball didn't work. Let me, like, that energy, that
Yeah.
timing, it's all divine. And in hindsight, it's like, well, I had all this alpha, I can't lose energy. Where
Yes.
was it going to go next?
Yeah.
You,
Where do you
you know
put
what I
that?
mean?
Yeah.
And I had it all. It was abundant in me. So
And you
I
just
then
shifted it onto
I
the
just
music.
shifted, and
Right.
I went on this mad dash and it worked, and there wasn't a whole lot of thought. It was just
Right.
I was
We're
just
we're going.
drive.
Yeah.
It was drive, and I realized in hindsight that the ego's dreams and desires were just as divine as the spirit side of like what it all is for and what it all means. It's like
Yeah.
if I didn't allow my ego, if I had spiritually awakened before this, like maybe things would have been totally different. My point is like
Yeah.
when you get called to spirituality, that's when you're supposed to listen, and
Yeah.
it's not demonizing the past of when you were a stupid ego driven kid. I personally think that's the whole point of being
Yeah.
incarnated into this world. Like we're meant to be human. We're not meant to be God realized.
Right.
We're not meant to know all the answers that are we're searching for.
Yeah.
It's it's all divine. It's all God, in my opinion. And
Man.
so much acceptance of that. Like, of course it's hard because I'm in an ego driven, I guess, character role. Like
Yeah.
I need doing what I do, I need people to see me and like me. Like
Yeah.
kind of like that's how
What
I feel. I've lived
what
my life a
what a
lot. Like,
unique
hey, you
position you're in, right? Because you do need attention to keep going with what you're doing, but that you're not really called to that anymore is what I'm hearing in some
it
ways.
is, and that's why there's a retirement happening,
Yeah.
albeit I'm doing it strategically,
Sure.
but also not, in their
Yeah.
experience of getting me on the phone, it's like I'm just flowing every single day. I'm just flowing every single day. I'm not a plan
Yeah,
guy
yeah.
per se,
Right.
but it's unfolding in a really special way. And
Yeah.
I feel honored to be in the position to even do this from the new seat that I sit in, it really isn't a very ego driven thing for me anymore at all.
Yeah.
That's part of why I don't do this. Like I don't need people to know my
Right.
I think this is a overdue story and the
Yes.
Steves would love it and that's what it's about,
I
And it's
appreciate
also cathartic for me.
it's gonna be.
I had I got to watch some of the videos that you did with some of my ex teammates. It was such a
Cool?
it was such a cool feeling because
Yeah.
we haven't done a great job of like we've stayed in touch, but you know what I mean. Just
Sure.
really, I haven't had sit down FaceTime conversations with them. So
Yeah.
it's all it's all just feels like it's the right timing, and to be honest, that's what I'm trying to do and curate every day is just feel like I'm in the right place, right time, having the right
Beautiful.
conversations with the right
Man.
people.
Oh man, this is so crazy. Thank you for being here, dude. Before we get going into some of the questions and stuff, um, I want to acknowledge Versace. So I got to say what's up to him a little bit. Part of the logistics team here. He was setting up the microphone before you and getting it whatnot, and we got to chat a little bit. And that was
Mm,
so cool for me being a Steve because I know how integral he is in the whole journey. And if there's no Versace, if there's no Kilmer, I don't think you're in the position that you're in today. What a amazing team. I know he takes care of all the little things for you. He had
yeah,
a real cool, laid back energy to him. So an honor to meet Versace. He doesn't get the amount of clout and recognition he deserves.
because he
What
doesn't
what
want
a-
it.
what a- what a guy.
He doesn't want it or care.
Yeah,
Like to be around someone that truly doesn't care.
selfless. Yeah,
Like he doesn't give a fuck about what other people. No matter what he's doing, he doesn't need
yeah,
other people to see that he's doing it.
yeah.
And it's been such a refreshing energy. He's been a legitimate like Stevenson angel.
Stevenson
Like
Angel.
he was with
I
us
love that
through
official
he was
title.
with the he yeah, exactly. He was with us through the the peak of my partying
Yeah,
fucking chaos, like managing just without ever without ever an 1 ounce of energy of like, you know, he didn't wanna be there or, he was doing so much cleaning and so much management of the house, and there was just it was out of control at certain points. Stevenson Ranch was a fucking zoo at one
Zoo.
point. So
Shit.
and then to go on through this period of my life, many people have shed. Many people
Yes,
have shed. And he's going to shed. He's gonna start his life and his journey and his family soon.
sure.
And that's sad for me. But I mean, what a fucking guy. And I mean, when anyone all the I have a lot of friends who are like famous and have
Yeah,
had
yeah.
these crazy lives and like everyone after just a short period of time is like, yo, Versace fucks. That guy's the man.
Versace
Like,
fucks. Let's go.
he does. He's the man. So he
Yeah,
deserves flowers on flowers, and somebody I'm gonna take care of for life because
beautiful.
I don't think I would have. I actually know I wouldn't be where I'm at without his presence in my life. And
Yeah,
fuck you. Another thing, I just feel very grateful.
yes,
To there's plenty of people that attract people into their lives that wreak havoc on their life and
right.
maybe aren't a good fit, and it wasn't a good alignment, and they found themselves in these hard relationships, and interpersonal dynamics can be fucked,
Yeah,
but
perfect fit.
him along with Kilmer and
Man.
really everyone, even really everyone, Fader,
Yeah,
the guys, like, yes,
yeah.
there's been some bad apples, and there's some of it's been public, some of it hasn't, but
Right.
um to have the gift of the presence of really, really pure hearted people who
Yeah,
are there to help you and pull the rope the same way
yeah.
and be of service. What a blessing. And another huge just look up to the sky and say thanks, because these are gifts.
Blessings on blessings, my guy. Shout out to him. Wouldn't be here
Shout
without
out.
you. Let's get into some of our questions here. And I like to start off funny. And then I'm going to ask you a deep one too, because I've heard and I've listened to all the podcasts. I know sometimes, and like we have right now, you drop into deep right away. Like
Yeah.
I remember laughing listening to you and Eban Britton, and like within the first 30 seconds, it was like the most deep conversations. And shout out to those conversations, dude. Epic. You and Eban Britton, there's something very special going back and forth. So,
Eban's literally one guy I never reach out to people
hmm
in like a I wouldn't say never, but over the span of being on the internet for 15 years and being
yeah,
a internet figure or whatever, like I never reach out to people, and yeah, I'm not going into like people I see, I'm like, yo, I'm a fan of you, or that's
but you
just
did
not
reach out
really.
to him though. You were
But
like hot
he's
boxed and fucked, yeah, all that, yeah.
literally the only guy, because I was watching Hotboxing and I was like, yo, this guy's special.
He
Like,
is,
I fuck with Mike Tyson heavy too, and where Mike Tyson was
yeah,
going through a painful transformation
yeah,
on camera. And a
yeah.
lot of those, if people want to go back and get some great, go watch the first few seasons of Hot Boxing when Eban was on.
Oh, Evan is special.
Eban was a standout to me, and then I saw him kind of get fucked over, and I
Yeah,
just I
he
just
did.
sent him a message like, hey, you're special, and if you ever want to come
And then he
talk
was
on
in
my
Montana. He drove up in a couple days,
I
didn't he?
invited him to Montana. We were on like a big ranch out there in the
Fucking
middle of
crazy.
fucking nowhere, and he came out and lived on the ranch. And we had some conversations, and
Oh, man.
he was in the flesh,
Yep.
just as special. So
Shout out
shout
to
out
Eban
Evan.
Britton. Love that guy. Get his book, The Ebb and Flow. It's fucking incredible. He is a special.
His book's great, but it's like
Yeah.
I don't mean to cut you off. His
No.
book's great, but he's a guy like there's some people that are like good at the internet,
Yeah.
or like they've
Right.
figured out how to work the internet. Like he's actually like a rock star that should have a big following.
He
Like
should.
his aura and
Yes.
his I wish it could translate more. Not that he's struggling or anything, but
No.
I'm saying
People need
he's
to
a
hear what he has to
superstar.
say.
Yeah, he's and like his life
Special.
experience and his aura is very, very real and
Yes.
authentic and genuine.
Shout out to Eban Britton. I absolutely love you guys going back and forth. And I listen to his podcast too. Always rooting for you, Eb. I know you've had some life changes in the last couple years.
Mhm.
Anyway, so let's start off funny and then get serious. You have we were chopping it up about hair stuff before we started here. Dude, love the mullet. It looks amazing. Have you ever thought back to think about like what kind of vibe would that have been if you would have been at Duke and just had that sha 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 that's just flowing back there?
To be honest, when I look at and I see pictures of myself pre-beard and pre-hair, I wonder what I was fucking doing, you know? I don't know if to be honest, to be fair to my old self, I'm not sure I had I at least didn't know I could grow the beard
Yeah,
when I was in college.
right.
Maybe I could have, but I doubt it would be as full,
Yeah,
you know? But hair, I mean, literally, bro, I would just shave my head with a
yeah,
one, and I
yep.
literally have like my hairline's not like amazing,
Looks
it's
great.
fine.
No, it
It's
looks great.
fine, but
Yeah,
when you shave it, you're not helping your hairline at
you're
all.
not.
So,
True.
I was when I look back, it's funny. I regret every day spent on this earth without the mullet. I'll say so. The mullet has come and gone in trend. but it's not going anywhere for me.
Gee, dude, it looks fucking awesome. Second one is every baseball player has been through this, a rite of passage. When was your first lip? Do you remember it? Do you remember the brand?
Yep, it was long cut. It was senior year of high school, coming back from a game. I think I just threw like a fucking one hitter. I had a span. I had a span in high school where I threw like 4 1-hitters in a row. I couldn't get the no hitter. And I think one of them, I'll tell you a story. I don't know if my parents, I'm sure they remember this. I don't know if they've told you it, but I'm in Rhode Island. This isn't like a baseball powerhouse in the
Right,
grand scheme.
right.
Even when I had like absurd numbers in high school, and like
Yes, you
even
did.
still, it's like, well, what would that be if you were in
In
Texas?
Texas or Florida or California, yeah.
Right. So like I was doubted all the way through.
Mm-hmm.
I always had this knowing I could do it.
Yeah.
And I was pretty gung ho about shoving it up everyone's ass at that point in my life.
Yeah.
Like, but I think my first dip was in that series of like 4 starts in a row where I kept getting like cheap hit. Like there'd be like a one, I couldn't get the no hitter.
Yeah.
And there's a funny story. Like there was a right fielder that was subbed in
Mm-hmm.
during a no hitter. It was like 10-0 the game. And I got an active no hitter, and I think it's the 6th or 7th inning. I think there were 7-inning games. And there's like a lazy pop fly out to right field,
Oh,
and
no.
the kid, he's not the starter,
Yeah.
and he like kind of like he just reads it wrong, and then he doesn't go after, he lets it fall, and I literally threw my glove. I, like on the mound, like just totally inappropriate, like threw my glove. Like the whole game had to stop. I had walked over and got the glove. Like I threw it like off over near the dugout.
It's fucking great.
And just showed him up. It was just not a good teammate moment for me. Although I feel like I was a good teammate
Yeah.
overall, that this was just a weak moment, but it was around that time, and I remember like a few of my guys on the team were dippers, and they're like, "You need a dip." And
Yep.
I had a dip, and it didn't go well. I think it was the green and yellow skull. I want to say it was like
Citrus? Lime or citrus? Citrus.
citrus.
Yep.
And I'm like, citrus, I fuck with citrus,
Sure.
so
Yeah. Yeah.
I go, long cut, within minutes, I've lost the pack. It's in
Yep.
my teeth. I'm starting to hate it. And then we're on a bumpy bus ride. Then I'm like, I'm taking it out, I'm throwing the dip out the
Fuck this shit.
window.
I don't want it.
It's all over my mouth. And I didn't let myself get sick, but I was going to. And I didn't really dip a whole lot in college either.
Really? Okay.
Yeah, even being a bullpen guy, I was more of a snack guy.
Snack.
In the bullpen, and I didn't really start dipping until, ironically, after baseball, where I became
Really?
like I
Interesting.
became more like because the studio, there's so
Yeah.
much like, I'm just,
For sure.
I wasn't really a long cut guy. I went right to pouches because,
Sure.
in the studio I'm writing and singing and stuff.
Yeah, you
So
can't
like,
have that everywhere, right?
yeah, so it kind of started right on the heels of it. Ironically, like I
Yeah.
wasn't a big, and my coach was a hard ass at Duke, so he wasn't allowing it. Guys were sneaking it,
Yeah, yeah.
but
Everyone did.
I didn't like it enough to be sneaking it, and he was
Okay.
already on my ass all the time. So I kind of gravitated towards it
Yeah.
after, and
Okay.
Mom doesn't like to hear this, but I've dipped pretty consistently, probably for the last decade.
My guy. Let's start getting into some of these questions here. And I've got you know what? How about we play a few clips here to start and get kind of the juices rolling here, and then we'll get into my first question is going to be just about your family growing up, kind of the dynamic. So let's play a clip from Mary here. She was an absolute star. Your mom's the best, dude. This one is called Psychic Prediction. You ready, my guy?
Let's do it.
It begins.
My husband had a client who had a friend flying in back in 1989 from LA to visit, who had this big business. She was a psychic. We didn't have, money was kind of short, but she wanted to work out. So my husband said, maybe she'll barter a session for a week of training, and I was looking for my birth family. So we did that in 1989, and my kids were 1 and 5. And was on a cassette, the whole reading. And, I asked about my children. I didn't want to ask too much because it's scary. Are my children going to be, healthy and all that, whatever. But it was like, are my children going to be okay? And she said, your daughter? And I go, yeah, my daughter. I have an older daughter, and absolutely beautiful, loving little girl. She's going to have a great life. She's so blessed, and you can just rest assured. And then she said, your little one? She didn't say a boy or girl, but she said, your little one, and you're very blessed, but she said, is going to walk through walls, quote unquote.
Wow.
Yeah, and we shared that.
What you got, Mikey? You definitely walked through some walls in your day, my guy.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, it kind of just reminds me of what I was just saying. I didn't do that, I think I believe in the metaphysical world just as much as the physical world. As I see the trees blowing in the wind, and I see that, but I also understand that we're in a metaphysical universe, and I over time I've come to know that it's not really a belief, it's a knowing. And um I can't say why. I don't think I'm God's gift to the earth by any means. I think everyone is. I think everything is, and I can't say anything otherwise being honored that I was gifted this path in life.
Yeah.
Maybe it wasn't, who knows? I don't know. We don't know how this all works, or if it's how manufactured and how perfect creation is. I come to believe that everything is divine, and we are a part of God, and I'm really blessed on this lifetime. Blessed to have the mother, the father I have, blessed to have this vessel, and to be who I am in this world. And if anything, that's just, I remember my mom's told me that story many times, but if any, it's just assurance, it's affirmation of that notion, for me. And it's a great example of me not really doing anything, like that. That's a nod to hitting the lottery in this lifetime, to have some of the skill sets I have to then go on and do some of this stuff,
Absolutely, man. That was beautiful. Let's move on to our next one here. This is called Last Time. Here we go.
I mean, he has not stopped. He's not never let anybody tell him what to do technically, and that's why he's still independent. I remember the night I said goodnight to him, I love you. It was like 13 or 14 years old. It was the NBA playoffs. It was a school night. Like, come on, honey, you got to go to bed. Looked at me and says, Mom, I am not going to bed. It's the NBA playoffs. I said, okay, good night. And that's the last time I ever really tried to tell him what to do. And that's why, it's true. It's true. But he was a good kid. I mean, he never disobeyed. Great. I mean, he really, a couple little things, but that was a pretty funny story of, okay, I'm going to bed. Don't stay up too late, honey.
What you got, Mikey?
Yeah. I remember that too. I do. I remember that. And,
man.
She's a mom. Like,
she is.
And she's a hawk. She didn't miss shit growing up. Like, she's sharp as a fucking tack.
Yeah.
Like, especially with her kids and with her family. So I was a very, I was a serious basketball player around this time. I was playing with, I was going into the projects playing pickup basketball. Like, the only white kid. They called me white chocolate. Like, I was the only white kid that would even go in that neighborhood. I don't know why. I don't know why, but I was super drawn to it. I was a good player.
Sure.
And I was just drawn to basketball culture, and she's protective mom.
Yeah.
But she never got
sorry.
The best
that's
parent.
all good. I thought she was here for a second.
No. Okay. You and I are talking here. Okay.
Yeah, all good. I thought she was interjecting.
Wait, where is Mary? No, my bad.
But she did such a good job. They're such good parents, because
I could see that.
She was able to get out of the way, and let me be me, and she ushered that in. My dad as well, but mom particularly, like, bringing me to these places. I'd be going to the parties, the club nights and stuff, and like, in bad neighborhoods and shit. And she'd be
Yeah.
like out there in the car waiting for me to come
Really?
out, and yeah, like young, 15 years old going
Yeah.
to these things, like, and just, I don't know, I just had an engine in me that drew me to things, and I just went and did them. I didn't think about it.
Yeah.
I wasn't an overthinker, another blessing,
Yeah.
and I think my parents really shepherded, like they were
Yes.
shepherds. I think that's what parenting is.
Beautiful.
I think they shepherded, and they allowed me to exercise my passions and
Yeah.
and go see for myself. And even if things were a little dangerous or a little kind of like, that's weird, you let your son go do that, like,
Right.
sure, like, why are you going into South Providence in these neighborhoods? And and she did.
Yeah.
She never, I my mom and dad are very different. They're an incredible pairing.
Yeah.
Sometimes they need to realize that, and that's part of my life now, is kind of become like instead of like giving the world my spiritual, any of the teachings, like,
Give them.
I'm pouring it into my family now.
Yeah. Beautiful,
That's way
dude.
more important to me than to
Yes.
like be on the internet telling people, where I can actually specifically hands-on help the people that helped me.
Yeah.
And that's been the full circle essence of where I am in my life now. I think I'm in that period where your friend, you kind of realize your parents are just, they're just big kids that grew up too,
Yeah. Right. Trying to figure it
and
out.
they did their fucking best, and
Yeah.
they did incredible.
They did.
So
Let me say that, dude. Let me commend both Mike and Mary, dude. People like you, special people like you, don't come out of nowhere. And they gave me a look behind the curtain, a phrase you like to use, about how they parented you. And I think there's some really unique stuff there, especially with your dad and some of the stuff that he kind of did, setting you up for some stuff. We're going to get into it. It's so beautiful, man. So let me shout out to both Mike and Mary. You guys did an incredible job. Great job as parents.
amen.
Not only with you, but with your sister too, man. So I just want to say shout out to them, special people.
Mhm.
Let me play this perfect clip here. I'm going to play. Here's another clip by Mary. This is called Best Parent.
I'm going to be the best parent that I can be in person. I can be, and I'm not going to let anybody, change that, any circumstance, because that's where I get kind of like tough about it. Like, it's no excuse when people have, adversities in life and use that excuse. And I said, I'm going to just be what I want to be, no matter what happened or where I came from. And it just came from the jump, because I'm a tomboy and all that. But when it comes to mothering, and with my grandkids too, I'm there, and I'll always be there no matter what age they are. And I think, and same thing with my husband. I know he talked about not having a dad. He is an amazing father, and he had nobody to show him and teach him. So
That was so beautiful. Thank you for sharing
Aw.
that. Man, that was great. You are
Yeah.
on it. I'm so
Aw.
glad. I'm so glad that you and I are talking here. What you got, brother? Cool clip.
It's true.
Yeah.
It's true. These are when you get older, you just realize how lucky you are if you had good parents, man.
Yeah.
Like, can't that's the phase of my life where I'm in, is this is harvest season for them. They don't
Yeah.
have to work. They don't have to worry about things anymore. They can just be them, and you could try to pay them back for the job they did,
Yeah.
and
And you're trying to.
I am, and
Yeah.
it's a fruitful time of life for me. And um you can't, especially, you get older and you look into the world and you just realize that most people who have, personality issues, or tough relationships with their life,
Yeah.
with their existence, and have a hard time, it's like a lot
Yeah.
of that started in childhood. A lot of that,
Absolutely.
they were born into that nature.
Yeah.
Like, you don't, like you said, you can be born into a family, you have no control over that. And again, I believe in something metaphysical. We don't really need to go there, but like,
Yeah.
either way, in this physical reality, that's just like nature. That's like the weather. Like, I don't know if it's going to rain or be sunny today, and
Yeah.
I have no control. I accept that. And it's like, a lot of people are born into life situations that are extremely challenging.
Yeah.
And my mom and dad both were.
Right.
So
Yeah.
to then understand that they didn't have it, but they went on a mission. It drove them to be who they are, to
Man.
then pour into their kids to allow me to be and have the life that I'm having.
So beautiful.
It's just, and then it also just from a spiritual standpoint, it's like that's what Thankful for the Lows is about. It's like
Shit.
when you take low points and then they actually drive you to your whole life's purpose. I mean, not to say my parents' whole life purpose with their kids. My mom actually kind of acts like that in a sense, and it's been validated. She's just been an incredible mom. My dad too, same. Like they, you know, they to take that experience that they had where you could walk out of that feeling not loved, not supported by the universe.
Yeah.
Everything's hard. I'm alone. I
Yeah.
don't have I don't even have a family that wanted me. To have that circumstance and then to go on and use it as it's the engine for their whole mode of operation and how they are and how they approach their lives and turn it into gold, because that what they gave me was gold. And
Damn, dude.
that came from coal. They got coal and turned it into gold, and that is a real achievement,
Man,
so
that's so
I
cool.
got nothing but it's just the truth. You
Yeah.
don't have to rehearse the truth. This is
Yes, you don't. Or true.
the truth. The truth of the matter is what a blessing to have a family like that, and to
Yeah.
have two people to transmute their karma, their soul, like transmute that situation, transmute that energy into something so positive, for the next generation. I
Man.
mean, I don't know if that's not living. I don't know what is.
Dude,
Yeah.
I'm so glad we're here, man. This is so darn special. What is your earliest memory of baseball? What stands out to you?
So when I was another divine thing, man. I was probably 5, 6 years old. We moved into a new house, and five doors down was a little league field.
Yeah.
So my first memories are playing baseball in the street. I remember T-ball where I hit last because every time I hit it really far, and
Yeah.
like
That's what your
everyone
dad
would just
said.
run around the bases,
Yeah.
and like I was gifted before it was any of my doing.
Right.
And that's just been a realization for me. It's like back to my original thing about like I'm in a state of gratitude all the time, because
Yeah.
I realize I did a bunch of work to create it and actualize it, but I mean, I didn't do shit to be the big kid who hit the fucking ball farther than everyone when I was
Right.
5 years old.
Mm-hmm.
So what was that? Who did that? You know?
Yeah.
And it sure as fuck wasn't me. So that's probably my first memory, is like I played on the Marlins.
Marlins.
We were the Marlins. We had the teal jersey,
Let's go.
and I remember like hitting it way farther, and like being a little dangerous to the kids, so they would like move everyone back into the
Yeah, yeah.
outfield, and that was actually genuinely my first. That's probably my first memory of playing baseball.
Okay. When do you feel like, and you've mentioned this multiple times in podcasts, but you felt like from a young age it was your path. It was your ticket out of where you were. It was your path to whatever was next in life. When do you feel like you kind of fell in love with the game and decided this is where I'm going?
I don't point to a moment. It was
Okay.
it was it was man, it was like an engine. I had an engine in me about it. It was, I don't know why engine is the word, but it was like a motor that I had towards it.
Yeah.
I think noticing, even though I maybe didn't understand, noticing I was like gifted physically
Yeah.
was a big catalyst. And then I don't know why I just felt like I needed to go elsewhere in my world. Like my world was beautiful at home.
Sure. I think
Yeah,
everyone has that pull when you're young. You want to go experience the world and see what else is
yeah,
out
I
there.
had that.
Yeah.
So and then it became clear I was physically gifted, and I also
And then maybe
enjoyed. I enjoyed playing sports, and
yeah.
I was in the Northeast. I was in this neighborhood, in this world, the Red Sox, the Patriots, the sports. So
Yeah.
automatically I think subconsciously as a kid, you want affirmation.
Of course.
So when I go play sports, everyone was looking at me like, damn, like, so I think as a kid, whether you know it or not, you like that feeling of people admiring you. Really on a core level, kids just want unconditional love because they are unconditional love.
Yeah.
They have that, and that's who we are until the world taints us, until our human experience begins.
Damn.
We're unconditional love, and I think getting the feeling of love and getting a pat on the back is a big part of
Yeah.
maybe what makes us tick as children, you know? And I think you have to be careful about what you prioritize, what you're patting your kids on the back for, and make
Yeah.
sure it's not one dimensional, like only when
Yeah.
you do what I say really well, and
Hmm.
not I didn't have that experience, thank God. And I also, I think more than anything, it became clear that I was like a special athlete, and
Yeah.
it was for me. I didn't think twice. I was going to work. I liked to work. I like to work out. I
Yeah.
wish I did now. I don't love working out now, but I liked. There was a motor. You know what
Yeah.
I mean? I had a
The
motor
drive.
going, and my
Yeah.
dad
Let's get right into it.
deserves
Dad.
deserves a lot of
That's
flowers, man.
perfect,
He
dude. This is my next question is so set up for this. This is so divine, my friend. So you've mentioned multiple times how much your dad poured into you, and it was so apparent talking to him just how much he
Mhm,
did not have growing up and how he wanted things to be different for you. And so talk to
mhm,
me about how your dad showed up for you, helped you develop, invested in you. It sounds like there's so much love. My relationship with my dad was built heavily around me pursuing professional baseball and athletic pursuits. Very
mhm.
special to me. What do you got in that kind of realm?
Yeah, I don't think I would have had any of the career I had without him. I
Yeah.
mean, he was it's divine. He was like an athletic trainer. That
Yes.
was his passion.
Yes.
It's literally what makes him tick to this day.
Right. Him and I
So,
talk shop sometimes.
of course, yeah, he's genuinely that guy. He
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 is that guy.
loves the physical expression of like
Yeah.
the body, and
Mhm.
that's his expression of the spiritual and source energy. Like he's still enthralled by it 70 years. He's 70 fucking years old, and
He
he's
looks great.
dialed. He's juicing all day. I got him on the raw juices, and
Dude's
like,
peeled. He still looks fantastic.
yeah, he does. He's had to accept aging for him has been a journey that
Sure,
we've
because you
I've
can't be
helped.
that muscle dude at 70, It's not the
Yeah, and he's peeling back the layers of
yeah.
maybe why he was so gung ho about
Why
getting
he
big and
needed to do that?
strong, because he got bullied as a kid.
So he put
You
that
know what I mean? And
protective armor on himself?
he got beat up. He got beat by his stepfather.
Yeah,
He was an alcoholic, and he beat him. So
yeah,
when you go even now, so when you zoom out and you're like, well, that was horrible, and no child deserves that. But then it sets him on his divine path. Yes, maybe the ego at first was like to get big and strong so no one bullies me and no one
right.
touches me. They're scared of me now.
Yeah,
And maybe that was a hardship for him, no doubt, right? But
yeah.
it also led him to the place that felt like home his whole life, which
Oh,
was the
shit.
gym. So there I am. I'm a gifted athlete, and he's training me for greatness. And
Yes.
he's really talented. He's really passionate. He's not overbearing, and he's not a you're going to do this and you're going to do that, and oh, if you don't run these sprints, you're not fucking
Yeah.
eating dinner tonight. Like there's plenty of sports dads that go over
Oh,
he
yeah.
wasn't that.
Right.
But he literally went to work at 4 in the morning,
Yeah, long
literally
days.
opened his gym.
Yes.
He's up. He's in bed. He's going to bed before. He's missing out on things. He's working his ass. And then he comes home and he's right outside with me. We're going down to the field. We're going
Yeah.
to the gym. Always there, never wavering.
Never too tired to
Um,
do it because he'd been
never,
grinding all day. And
never once.
I was a trainer too. It's absolutely draining to do that all day long. So for him to
It
come
is.
home and do that, props to you. Props to you,
Yeah,
guys.
he's a rock star, and
He
he
is.
and he was a rock star component of my entire trajectory.
Yeah.
Um, he knows this. We've had these conversations, but it's just, for men, like women, my mom is totally fulfilled by being a mom, and watching her kids, and ushering her kids into a nourished
Yes.
life experience. That's it.
Yeah.
My dad was a man.
Right.
I didn't grow in his body.
Right.
You know what I mean? There's a reason the men and men go out and
Sure.
hunt and gather and earn, and
Yeah.
there's a reason why men don't house kids,
Right.
because and when the kids come out of the woman's body, they are quite literally a part of them.
100%.
And you know, my dad had dreams. My dad had financial goals. My dad had
Yeah.
business male ego trying to be the earner that you think you can be in the world,
Sure.
you know?
Yeah.
And never once, nothing was beneath. The kids and the family never, he got out of the way. He muted those.
Yeah.
He did what he had to do, and he muted those, and he put more time into things that reared no money, which
Yeah.
was working with me. I guess in a perfect universal divinity, now it does rear money for him, because
Yeah.
that was one of my main goals as I set out to do this, was to be able to retire them and take care of them,
And you did.
because I know what the fuck they did
Right.
for me. So, you know, it's there isn't enough words to explain it, but just the presence that he had for me, there
Yeah.
was never a time that he wasn't there and wasn't at the game coaching,
Yeah.
and that had thoughts, never pushing too much of his own shit onto me, and just literally being a channel, being offering his expertise to me without ever overbearing, overstepping,
Yeah.
and totally ushering me into my athletic excellence. Really, truly.
Man, beautiful answer. Shout out to your dad. Him and I really have like chopped it up. We talk about training, we talk about supplements, we talk about parenting. So shout out to both your parents. We have plenty more clips from them to play here. That was so beautiful. I want to pivot here to what I think is a cool moment. And I uncovered it in my research and whatnot. But the pitch and throw competition that you won as like a little kid, and then from many people think the greatest pitching performance of all time was Pedro in that All-Star game. And from what your dad told me, winning that competition, you got to go out and be a part of the All-Star
Yeah.
things, like be in the outfield during Home Run Derby and see that. Tell me about this experience. That sounds super cool.
Yeah, another thing. It's just like, man, I've been fucking blessed. I was ushered along this path the whole
Yeah.
way. I had lucky breaks. I had, that was, I'm just realizing that right now, but that was a really important thing,
Absolutely.
because I was a kid in Rhode Island, and
Yeah.
like, yeah, I knew I was bigger, stronger, special. I was athletically gifted, but then I won the Rhode Island, and then the regional, and then
Yeah.
to go to something as a kid, I was
Mhm.
9, I
Yeah.
think,
Powerful.
and to go experience that
Yeah.
at the highest level, like, and really be around your heroes, like,
Yeah.
it was an incredible experience. I
Yes.
literally I was engaging with Sammy Sosa and Mark
Crazy.
McGuire. This
Wow.
was at the peak of
Right.
baseball, in my opinion.
Yeah, dude.
And Ken Griffey Jr., who's my favorite player. Pedro's
Crazy.
my favorite pitcher. And then I'm out there in the field in the home run derby. I'm like,
What was that like?
I don't remember. Like,
Really? Yeah, it's so
I'm
long
just
ago.
saying, in hindsight, it really, it was one of those things that showed me the world is big and the world is my
Yeah.
oyster. And
Yes.
it was a life experience that I obviously had no idea at the time, the magnitude of it,
Right.
but I think it showed me the possibilities.
Yes. And did it
And I
did it
think,
like,
yeah,
you've talked about being like the big fish in Rhode Island, but did it give you more belief in yourself to get around kids from other areas and you're like, "Oh, I'm still good. I'm still that
I
guy."
think so.
Yeah,
I think
for
so.
sure.
Yeah, I think so. I just, it was just a big scale. Like,
Yeah,
it
yeah.
happened quick. It was all like in Rhode Island, and then I did something in Boston. I won that, and then all of a sudden, I was at the All-Star game
Yeah.
on Fenway,
Yeah.
and it happened all so quick. It was like a dream. Like, and then I really think like there was a huge impact on my psyche that happened.
Yeah.
I'm realizing that right now. I haven't even thought about that, but
Beautiful.
I was in the newspaper. It was like, be
Yeah.
like Mike,
Yeah.
it was just the beginning of like realizing the power that I maybe hold,
Yeah.
with some of the gifts that I had, and maybe, I think right away it kind of started to lead a path to like, yo, I can go see the world.
Yes, through
I
this.
might be I could be a big leaguer. I could, I could achieve this dream. It felt tangible. I could touch it,
Yeah,
like, and having that experience at 9 years old, or
man.
it was either 9 or
You
10.
said 9 or 10, yeah.
It just had, I think it made big waves in my quantum field of like what my life's possibilities were,
Did you see yourself being a big leaguer after that or before that? Or was that right about the time you're like, "Oh,
I
you know
don't,
what?"
yeah, I'm not sure I was thinking about anything. I was a kid, I'm
Yeah,
not sure I was yet, but I think
okay,
a big part of like, okay, that happened and I was there with the heroes, and like,
right.
it just made it all tangible and real and like reachable,
Yes,
and maybe if that didn't happen, I don't know if maybe I wouldn't have had the same, not delusional, but like, yeah, I belong here and this is what I do. And like, it made things a reality
yeah, I'm with
in a
that.
way, but
Sure.
it was just an awesome experience. It's straight up, even if none of that is true, which I think it is, but even if none of it is true, like just that
Yeah,
tangible experience was incredible.
okay.
Yeah, and it was a moment for me and my dad. I think that set him and myself on a path.
Yeah.
For him, it was a grand experience
Oh my
as an
gosh, yeah,
adult,
yeah,
and it kind of opened. We really poured ourselves into my career. I mean, I never lifted a finger at the house.
yeah,
I never did a laundry, a chore.
yeah,
I never fucking even shoveled snow. Like,
yeah,
they literally, I never was asked to do a job for pay, even though we didn't have money.
right,
They saw, it's hard because everyone thinks their kids are special, right?
right, yeah, yeah.
But I think they were having enough feedback from life and when I was going around other kids
That's
that
beautiful.
I had a special opportunity, and they wanted to shepherd that for me, and they didn't want to bog me down
Yeah,
with daily tasks and things that,
go chase
it's
your
cra
dream, right?
yeah, and like they just made
Yeah,
it a priority
yes,
with their actions.
right,
Not like, "Oh, you're a prior," but then like, "Do this, this, and this for me." Like,
yeah,
well, a lot of parents, you got to be careful. You're in the parenting, and
yeah.
I already know you're a great parent by your general aura and how you're approaching things. But
Thanks, brother.
in general, like, that is the goal of parenting,
Yes,
is to, not to say you don't tell your kids to do anything,
right.
not at all, but
No, I
just
I
to
totally get what you're saying.
not pour your shit on. My dad had limitations. My dad was a great athlete too.
Yeah,
He hit a wall somewhere.
right,
He wasn't gifted all the way, like maybe at a big league level. He was a great athlete though,
right, yeah.
and he was, but like, just to shepherd your son's journey along
Oh,
and
yeah.
to make it as resistance free as possible. I mean, that is parenting at the highest tier, So
Yeah,
that event for me and my dad, I think, was really special.
yeah.
And I think it just set us on a path that we walked on together.
What a yeah, that's man, that's so beautiful. Tell me about, your dad told me about your Little League experience and that you were just, the LeBron of Little League, essentially killing everyone, but that then there was, like, kinda like a overbearing, kinda power-hungry coach that made things uncomfortable, and you stepped away for a few years. Do you wanna speak on this at all, or do you wanna just
Yeah, I don't have a ton of memory about it. I
okay.
know, so that field that it's all divine, man. I got placed. We picked a house right near a fucking baseball field. Turns out that little league field in Cranston, Rhode Island, which sounds so dumb that we were, because it was so important when I was there, and
Yes.
that was the thing. Like,
Yeah.
for whatever reason, this little shit bum town in Cranston, Rhode Island, right? There was great baseball players coming out
Yeah.
of this little
You guys went
field.
to the Little League World Series in that time
Yeah.
period.
So like they had gone multiple times right before me. I was just much more advanced than kids my age at
Yeah.
the time. And yeah, it 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 was very serious and very intense. I can't remember the exact details. We were doing 2-a-day workouts in the summer.
Yeah.
We'd practice in the morning, practice at night,
Yeah.
um, running, and it was intense because there was like there was a success happening, and this
Sure.
coach kind of, he was the coach, so
Yeah.
he was just on a power trip, and I had that experience in college too. It
Yeah.
was,
Coach
you know,
McNally.
I know
Yeah.
you know about it to
Yeah.
a certain degree, and
Hmm.
um, I didn't play Little League. We would have went to the Little League World Series both years. So
Crazy.
when I was 10 years old, I did the Diamond Skills thing.
Yeah.
But when you're 11 and 12, that's a different age bracket. That's Williamsport. That's
Right.
going to the
Oh,
Little
yeah.
League World Series, and
Yeah. Yeah.
that was a dream of mine.
Sure.
You know,
Everyone growing up. Yeah.
that was the thing when you're a
Seeing that
Little
on
League
TV,
baseball.
how cool that was.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. So this was before social media. So
Right.
like you're on TV, that's the
Oh
shit.
my
You
God.
know, like
Incredible for a 12-year-old to be on TV and yeah, right.
incredible. And
The
then I
dream.
know the guy, and I'm playing at the field, and I had the same coach, and I'm the
Yeah.
best player, and I'm like, yeah, we're doing like I was.
Let's go.
So
Yeah.
I actually didn't get that opportunity.
Yeah.
And we had a great team. They almost went without me, and I was the best pitcher and the best hitter. You know, like that. We had
Yeah.
a good team, and it was hard on my parents. My parents had a hard time.
Sure.
It was just an intense group of people that took it very seriously, and it's very odd thinking back to the age group. Like it's kind of crazy to me that adults were caring this much.
Right.
But when you have fame and like, you know, that
Yep.
it's just, there was, I guess, a little bit of fame attached to it, and you
People
start
get
to see
hungry.
the human greed,
Nature
and
part of it. Yeah.
yeah. So that's kind of what happened. The coach would start butting heads. Like he was catching me and pitching me, and then he put me in right field, and like there became issues about like using me too much or too little. I
Yeah.
can't remember exactly, but it was tumultuous.
Yeah.
And I actually had to like, I gave up on, that was like a time, probably the first time where I kind of just surrendered a
Yeah.
dream.
Right.
I didn't, I,
Momentarily.
I
Yeah.
went to the big field. So I was 11 playing with the 13, 14-year-olds
Really?
on a big field.
Just to
So
get away from that dude?
just to move
Yeah.
forward.
Yeah.
You know, I wasn't going to stop playing baseball, but we weren't going to be doing that.
Yeah.
And they didn't feel it was a good environment for me.
Yeah.
And like, I don't remember caring a whole lot, but now that I think about it, I'm sure I did.
Yeah.
You know, that was like definitely my first dream that I wasn't realized.
Right.
And it was kind of like a shitty reason. It wasn't like we weren't good enough and it didn't happen. It was like,
Right.
I didn't even get a chance to go. We definitely would have been like, it would have been a shock if we didn't make Williamsport, you know?
Sure.
So that was something that like I had to let go of because
Yeah.
of a life situation, and I moved to the big field and kept it moving, you know?
Kept it moving, G.
And that was really that was really it. I don't have a whole lot of like memories
Yeah. Yeah.
about like exact happenings or anything, but it
Okay.
wasn't a healthy environment for
Sure.
kids, and I think my parents made the right
Good
decision.
on them. Yeah.
Yeah.
Advocating for you. Cool, my guy. I've got a cool pivot here, and I'm going to keep this mostly baseball as much as I would love to ask you a million questions. But I would be remiss if we didn't hit on this in your talent show around this time period. You know, when you first did it with DJ Fader here. So I've got a couple clips about this. Is it cool we go into this?
Yeah, of course.
Okay, cool. So this first one is going to be called, so for you guys that don't know, like Mike did a talent show in like a middle school about that age
Middle school.
with DJ Fader, and here we go. Here's a clip about it. Okay, so all right, guys, we're going to pick it back up. We had a minor technical issue here. Again, I am not a logistics company either. So. Here we go. We're going to do the clip here of DJ Fader, Nick Wilmond here, talking about their talent show. Cool clip. Here we go.
Yeah. So we did we practiced and everything, like what we were gonna do like for the talent show for like probably like 2 weeks, and then like right before we were gonna go on stage, we were like in the boys' locker room when we were getting ready and everything.
This is perfect.
And like, you know, right in line with Mike's energy, he's like, yeah, let's switch it up last minute. So we literally just went on stage and kind of freestyled it, and really had no idea what we were going to do until we kind of got out there. And that's kind of been how it's always been with him and I. We just have this crazy chemistry. Like we never when we first started this, we never rehearsed. We never talked about like what we were going to do. We just like, all right, let's just go out there. Like in the early stages of it, he only had 3 songs, and we had to go out and play for 45 minutes, and we were just winging it the whole time.
Dude, that's so in line with like what I think I know about you in terms of like switching it up at the last second and just kind of going with your intuition. Although at a very young age, you got anything you want to add to this or?
Yeah, no, I think that's another maybe gift. I think there's something to right now I honor like happy accidents. I'll be
Yeah.
in the studio and it will play back something I thought I muted and I liked it, and then now all of a sudden that's a big
Yeah.
part of the song, and like
That's what's up.
I'm just I'm just I'm trying to operate in a mode of living creatively, like
Yeah.
paying attention in real time to everything. Yes, you have a little plan or an intention, you're going a certain direction, but I'm totally paying attention to the feedback in real time. You talked with Kilmer, I'm sure he brought it up, how everything we've ever done, all my little last minute things when we're shooting videos, there's no plan, and I see there's a chair in the room that we rented, and then all of a sudden the chair is a focal point of the scene. Like, and Kilmer, these guys, there's plenty of times you're like, this is not
What the fuck?
what we
Yeah.
this isn't what we talked about at all. And they've at this point they understand that's a part
There's
of this.
beauty in that too.
This is part of the magic. It's just, to
Yeah.
me, it's fruitful. It's not like a lack of preparation. It's actually like more preparation, in my opinion, to be prepared in the moment to be anything and do anything. I think there's a level of
Prepare to be free.
like human planning, that our ego wants this illusion of control of the situation, so
Yeah.
we feel safe and comfortable to do what we need to do, and we don't want to look foolish, or we don't want to be wrong, and I don't have that. I don't have that. I think if I thought about anything I had to say today, none of the things that I've said that will be impactful they wouldn't even, like, my point is, even down to my conversations in my real life, nothing is planned. I
Yeah.
have no idea what I'm going to say, and I
You
don't
don't want to
really
get in the way of yourself. Yeah.
yeah, I don't feel like it's even me, really. Like,
Yeah.
if it's my job, Mike, it's my job to be open,
Yeah.
an open channel, and like whatever words are going to come through me here, great. I know they're authentic and I know they're genuine, but I don't take a whole lot of ownership in them.
Yeah.
And I think paying attention to what's happening at all times is a level of preparation that a lot of people overlook. Like, it's not preparing before. You can do that, and there's nothing wrong with that. But
Yeah.
for me, in my relationship to my life, there's a preparedness for me to be available when it's time and I'm there doing something and I'm here. I'm prepared for whatever's going to come through me, and something could happen right here and I might comment on it, and it takes us down a whole beautiful path of this conversation.
Yeah.
And that's just how I operate. It was natural to me. It's always how I've been, even as a kid. And I just try to honor. I think I try to look at it as a superpower of mine, and I try to nourish that and try to be open and willing to be like super fluid.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think that's just an example of like another gift.
Yeah.
Where some people might say, "Ooh, I couldn't do it like that." You're winging it. Like, are you? And my ego mind will tell me, "Are you sure you don't want to rehearse? Like, you're about to go
Yeah.
do that. You sure you don't want to know what's going?"
Dude.
And if I'm being real, I don't. Like, I don't want to know what you were going to ask. We talked about it. I said, you ask whatever the fuck you feel. You've done the work, and this is what you do, and whatever I got to say in the real time will be the answer. And
you don't gotta rehearse the truth, right?
Yeah, exactly. That's kind of how I'm rocking in general, in my, even off camera, in my day-to-day life.
Yeah.
Dude.
I know you're not really doing podcasts anymore, but it is so beautiful to hear you talk, and like how, even from when you were like really doing the podcast a lot, like I feel like you've even grown. So just, you're saying some really profound things. I know the Stevies are going to love it. So thank you for giving me this time, and all the Stevies out there too. This is going to be really special.
I agree.
Guy.
I'm happy to be here, my guy.
Yeah. This next one is called Mary. She's got a little clip here. Early raps. Here we go.
After, it was after he was out of college. We have a loft in our garage that used to be a fort for him. I made for him, and he used to sleep up there when he was like 10, 11, 12 years old with his buddies. They were, beanbag chairs and the Atari games and all that.
Sure.
I found some papers of rap music. So there was a poster of Eminem on the wall up there, that I eventually took out and cleaned and everything. But like, he was writing rap music when he was like 10.
Wow.
Like, just for fun.
Yeah.
And then that was the following year or so is when he went to middle school and did that talent show. But who would have thought? And here they are with Nick. And Nick has been just a a godsend for Mike in his tours, and
Yeah,
just been a friend that's, you talking since
sure.
Mike was 11. So
Cool,
Mhm.
cool clip. Okay, this is incredible. True to form with like the YNK podcast and just the Team Stevenson Ranch. We've been having a couple difficulties here and stop and starts, but we're back. We can hear each other now. We were kind of talking about, the talent show and moving on from that. Do you have anything to add there or anything like that? Early raps and stuff like
Yeah, I
that?
mean, dude, I find it strange that I wrote raps when I was 10. I
Yeah.
don't know. I was drawn to rap music.
Yeah.
It's funny, I had an Eminem. I liked Eminem when I think Eminem was the first rap that I did hear, maybe.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um, and I loved the energy of it, and
Sure.
um got drawn to it, and for, like, when you're 10, no one's telling you what to do. Those are important things. There's
Yeah.
the soul speaking, like there's
Yep.
what I think it's important. I don't know how old your kids are, but just like
4 and 6.
I find that fascinating. What a great time. I
It
mean,
is.
if I find that fascinating that
You're
like
gonna be a great dad someday too, my guy. I feel it.
I hope so, man. I can't wait. I'm gonna try I'm gonna try my damnedest for
Yeah.
sure. But I I think that's really fascinating that I had natural instincts towards that. Like
Absolutely.
no one put that on me
Yeah.
whatsoever. I was doing it on my own in my little fort up there,
Yeah.
and it was something, my soul's expression coming out intuitively, and
Yeah.
I think that's a nice little wink from the universe, man.
Man, I love that. This might be a cool one for anyone that you know locally, but I always ask guests this. Was there anyone locally in your area that was like you looked up to, that was like the guy you were like, man, I want to be like him someday, or anything like that that gave you inspiration?
Without thinking too hard about it, I'd say no.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm like, I'm kind of, I don't know. I don't know what that is about me. I'm not like I've never been like a fan of somebody. You know what I mean? Even as an adult and musician, I have great respect. Like I'm probably most, I would say, Drake, in the period of time when I was like
Yeah.
2015 to 2020, when I was exploring a sound and learning to
Yeah.
sing and going in this new direction musically. I would say, like,
Yeah. Yeah.
I can think of me being a fan of him. I was a fan of him and what he did artistically, maybe more so than anybody else. But growing up, I'd never cared to go to one concert.
Really?
I didn't give a fuck about, I wasn't a fan of anything. Like, I wasn't, even though I loved baseball, I wasn't like, oh my God, I need Nomar Garcia Parr's like
No, ma.
autograph,
Yeah. Yeah.
Like, I remember him being the man. And I'm sure my answer to that is like probably like the Boston Red Sox players. Like,
Yeah.
they might have been who I looked up to, but I didn't have
Yeah.
anyone locally.
Okay.
And I wasn't, for whatever reason, I'm not like a big consumer of things.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Yes.
I'm not like, I might consume it like in the actual definition of the word, like
Right.
listen to the music or watch them play baseball and be great, but I wasn't drawn to fandom.
Yeah.
And or art or even sports didn't speak to me in that way. I was kind of always in my own bubble, in my own world, in my head. It was, for lack of a better word, like I was very personally driven.
Oh,
Like
interesting.
it
Yeah.
wasn't about
From
anybody
within.
else's
Yeah.
thing. It just,
Within. Yeah.
I don't know why that was the case. I obviously wrote raps, and I had Eminem on my wall when I was a kid at 10, but
Yeah.
even still, I never went to an Eminem concert or cared what he was doing in his
Right.
life, or, followed his interviews or things like that. So I think it's part of my nature to just be more of a creator versus like a consumer of something
Yeah.
else.
Yeah.
Just
Yeah.
like, what can I create? What's going on within me, type of thing, and
Yeah.
what can I do in my life? And very, very ego driven. Like, it was about me. That, like,
Yeah.
I think that might be another gift from, like, I thought I was a little weird, maybe.
Yeah.
Like, everyone had their things they were into. Like, I wasn't super into anything else. Like, it was just
Yeah.
kind of about what I had going on, even as a kid, which
Yeah.
no one told me to be that way. Like, my mom would have brought me to whatever concert I wanted to go to,
Sure. Yeah. Yeah.
but I just didn't care. I didn't. So, you know, when I think about somebody I was looking up to, or I think I was trying to make, I think I was trying to, like, I was trying to achieve things for my dad and for myself. Like
Yeah, I
I
get that
wasn't like,
deeply.
I wasn't interested in like, if, you know, can I be like this guy,
Right.
Joe from down the corner, who's a
Okay.
great bass, like, you know, I didn't really have that.
Okay. Yeah, for sure. I get that. I want to pivot here into some of your dad stuff, and there's some absolutely fascinating stuff here, dude. And you've talked about it kind of lightly in some of your podcasts, but we're going to get into it a little deeply, more deeply
Okay.
here, I hope. But you talked about, coming up, a proper Northeast tough guy, like
Yeah,
getting into fights. Same, dude, same. I mixed it up quite a bit growing up. A lot of that, what'd you say? What? That kind of
exactly.
back and forth, I deeply get that. You talked about, fights in your childhood, having to change schools. So I want to get into some of your dad's stuff because he shared an interesting story about the fighting and some affirmation stuff. So let me start off with some affirmations and then we'll pivot to the fighting part. Is that cool?
Hmm.
Let's go.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, what we did, like, I was big into, like, the spiritual side then at 30,
Really?
you know what I mean? Yes. So what I did, I had a tough upbringing myself, and I was trying to always find myself, kinda, and I didn't want him to be the same as me,
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
sure.
So I did everything with him that I would have done with me at that age, you know what I
Yeah,
mean?
well said.
I had him visualizing at, like, 8 years old,
Really?
like, and like that, yeah,
Beautiful.
that he would be the guy that would make the big shot, at the foul line with no time to win the game. See yourself doing that. Close your eyes and see yourself doing that. And he went along with all of it.
Yeah.
So I mean, it was affirmations, it was all that stuff.
Really?
So yeah, yeah.
So there was some early programming of kind of some things that ended up manifesting later on in his baseball and in his music life.
Right. Well, subliminally,
Wow.
that just coming into effect, and I had all those blue cassette
Really?
tapes and from back in the
That's
day,
awesome.
Think and Grow Rich, all that stuff. And
Really?
I heard,
Wow.
yeah,
You
yeah.
were the one who originated. I mean, he's talked about think and grow rich endlessly. So it started with you?
Well, I don't know. I mean, I didn't ever say that to him,
Okay.
but then I went upstairs and found him and sent him a picture one day when we were up in the attic.
That's amazing.
How I had all these cassettes, and yeah, I did all that, and I practiced that myself for a long time. With the giving and the receiving part of that and
Sure.
all that stuff. Yeah. But him,
Beautiful.
I just didn't want him to be like me.
Incredible what you got. Dude.
Yeah, I mean,
Wow.
couldn't be more accurate.
Yeah.
And you know, it's hard to put into words the level of gratitude, because to me personally, spirituality is the purpose of life. Like
Mhm.
I I feel bad for people who are just living in the human life and they're not really doing the work to, like,
Spiritually bankrupt. Yeah.
yeah, and just like when their spirit's disconnected and it's just all about survival and the ego driven needs of day-to-day existence, which I know how hard that can be when you have X, Y, and Z to take care of. And it's just it's pretty, I don't know. I'm pretty blown away by their level of execution on the parenting side of this. Like, great respects for him and my mom. And I remember before I would go down for a nap, and like I would nap before like games and stuff, and he would talk to me about visualizing as I go to sleep.
Yeah. Really?
And then I went on and did that on my own, like,
Yeah.
you know 15 years later, 20 years later, I was gravitating back to it, and
Yeah.
I found like I really feel like I started living because
Yeah.
of the spiritual journey,
Man.
and to have those seeds planted,
Early.
which again, that's not my choice. Like,
Yeah.
he could have told me none of that shit and I wouldn't have known any difference,
Right.
and you don't realize the magnitude of it in the moment, but it's those are seeds planted. and
Do
and
you
um
do you think there is a connection in like how you've ended up spiritual and some of those early
Totally.
things?
Million
Absolutely.
percent.
Man,
1,000,000%.
so
Yeah, no,
cool.
I am literally like spending a lot of my days, my mornings are dedicated to reflection
Yeah,
and introspection and and applying spiritual literature and the universal truths and all the great minds of the past and what they have to say about the grand picture of what life is. And
yeah,
I believe everything's all interconnected. I believe everything's divine, even the worst things about being alive.
yeah,
And I think to have these seeds planted into me, uh, I think there's a huge connection. I think
sure.
all I'm a big like I have a don't have a great memory per se. Um, like I won't remember what I did last week a lot of the time, you
Hmm.
know, but I believe I remember everything in a DNA level. My there's a song I remember everything, and that's I say a line like I remember everything. It's in my DNA. I literally
Yeah,
have that lyric, and that's what I'm saying is like these seeds planted and all these things that I might not have the best recollection of, I know they're a part of who I am on a
yeah.
cellular level. And I think they're a big part of the overall orchestration of my life and how it's unfolding, you know?
Man, dude. I wrote down a couple things while you were speaking there. I'm not gonna play it, but there is a funny clip where Mary talks about how important naps were to you, and she was like, "I insisted on this kid napping, and that's why he was so big and strong as he is." So she said you were a great napper, and that's why you're 6'2" or whatever, how
She
tall you
bit
are.
Hey, whatever you believe is there's whatever you believe is true, you know?
And then
Truly.
secondly, there was something when I was going back and listening to all the podcasts and whatnot, and your dad talked about Think and Grow Rich, and you said something about how when you got Larry King to kind of agree that you were forming your mastermind alliance, like, putting all
Yeah.
these people together, and that's what kind of brought him in. And I was like, fuck, that's beautiful, dude. So
Mm.
that's how I kind of look at the YNK. You brought all these amazing minds together and like ideas and thoughts, and it was just so beautiful.
That book was the inspiration for why I thought Y&K was a
Yeah,
good idea, you know?
yeah,
I realized I had a bunch of friends that were, like, right in the midst of their careers at high levels, a lot of baseball players, a lot of athletes,
yeah,
and I just felt like I had an interesting perspective or opportunity to let them share their perspective
yeah,
from a more spiritual standpoint, which
sure,
honestly, when I started doing it, there really wasn't a lot of it yet. You
yeah,
know, it felt like a void that I was filling and
sure.
it could be of service to people. And I really went into that just to be of service. Like I was big on the seven spiritual laws at
You
that
were,
time as well. And just it was very apparent. I was putting everyone on it, but it was just doing things for the first time, doing things when it's not all about what I can gain from it per
yeah,
se. Like, it just felt like important conversations to host and hold, and
yeah.
Larry King was a special one
Oh
for
my
me. That
God,
was
that
that
must have
was
been crazy to be there, dude.
it was a surreal experience. I mean,
Right?
he got carried up my
I
steps,
know. I know the story of
and
it, yeah.
he like it was felt like a spiritual experience for me to be
Yes.
honest. And he passed shortly thereafter.
Right,
I
I
mean,
think that might have been his last interview, I
it
think, or very
was
close
it
to,
was
yeah.
yeah. No, I
So,
talked to his son still a little bit, so it was, and that's the bag he was in. You know, thank you very much. He did it. You had an out? Okay, buddy.
see you, Sachi.
Um, he's a legend, man.
He is.
So, you know, I actually told Larry King that when I spoke to him, he wasn't gonna do it. I think when he called me, he was gonna kind of just like, hey, you know, I can't. My health isn't great. That's kind
Yeah,
of how the conversation was going, and then we just had a genuine conversation. I was telling him what my intentions were, and I told him no pressure to come on. I totally understand, and it's actually just a pleasure to talk with you. And I think
sure.
my
Honored.
passiveness about having him on,
Not pushy.
I didn't care. Yeah, like
Yeah,
I thought it was just cool how we were speaking, you know.
sure.
So I think he kind of caught my vibe, and then he was super supportive. He sent me some nice messages after, and
Yeah,
he kind of affirmed my way. Like I told him I don't plan my conversations, and he's like, I like that
yeah. I
because
love that, dude.
I think he operated the same way on
Yeah,
TV, which he was a rock star
yeah,
in his own way, you know. So yeah, that was. There's been moments along the way of
yeah,
affirmation. The guy I mentioned, Drake, earlier.
yeah.
I don't know if you've seen that video of him, but he came up to me one
Yes.
time
Super cool
and
with
was
you.
super kind and like really really in hindsight, I could say like really spoke life into me. You know, I was in a period where Mike Stud I knew was kind of like
Dying.
I knew I wanted to end it, but
Yeah.
I was shooting a TV show called This Is Mike Stud.
Right.
And like I already in my heart, I knew I was going to be
Yeah.
changing it at some point. And
Yeah. That
I
must
was
have been scary.
also I was hitting a tier of like, well, we've been playing these 1,000-person rooms like for 4 or 5 years now. College Mike Stud, that's
Yeah.
kind of over.
There's a
Like
ceiling to it. Yeah.
how long are you the college guy? You know
You
what I
can't be a
mean? Like
35-year-old college guy, you know?
yeah, and I was like 27 at the time, and you know, life was getting real. I was realizing like I make $1 million a year, but I got nothing to show for it at the end of the year with how
Yeah.
I live and how these
Yeah.
expenses, and then learning the music industry and how it's rigged.
Yeah.
So I'm like, it was an interesting time, and for him to go out of his way, it was one of those like, in
Man.
hindsight, one of those special little winks from the universe. Like
Yes.
this is the one
Absolutely.
guy I actually like really, I thought he really changed music
Yes.
and like almost paved the way for me to do what I do, sing, rap, and do what I feel
Yes.
free to do what I want. And
Well said.
I was on the journey to becoming a real artist still. I wasn't, I kind of just got lucky. Like
Yeah.
I wasn't an artist when Mike Stud started. I had no idea what I was doing. Like
Right.
I was a baseball player making songs in my dorm,
Yep.
and I didn't know how to be an artist. I didn't know what it meant. I wasn't even melodically fluent. Like I
Right.
could write dope lyrics, but
You
like
did. Yeah.
you might notice that now it's all everything's melodic, because
Yeah.
to me, my ear, it hurts my ear to hear rap.
Yeah.
Like when it's not melody driven,
Right.
I don't. I heard one of your conversations. I think it was with Sned. It was a part you posted. It was about like the music and how you listened to Toast to Tommy and the
Mhm.
beginning, and you love that. And you almost like, oh, I wish you still kind of did some of that shit like rap. And there's a good amount of fans, honestly, that may feel the same way. But it's just me following my instincts and my
Mhm.
tastes, you know, and looking back at the old music, like I didn't even understand melody. You know,
Right.
I didn't know how to write a melody. Like I knew how to write a lyric,
Yeah.
but like how do you perform it? And does melody is what music is. Like
Yes.
melody is music. So when you're talking, rapping is a version of like
Yeah.
poetry on music, which I understand the merit. And there was a sound there that I found and it worked, you
Yeah.
know. But I also, at this time when I met Drake, I bring that up because I was on a journey to becoming, you know, an actual musician. You
Yeah.
know what I mean? So
Sure.
it was a time where it just, a pat on the back from him when he did not need to do that.
Deep. Yeah.
It taught me a lot about kindness.
Beautiful.
It did.
Man.
He did not have to do it, and he lit
Yeah.
a fire under my ass, whether I realized it in the moment or not.
Yes.
It was eye opening,
I've
and
seen the video. Yeah.
yeah, it was another little fucking gift from the
Wink.
universe. Like, hey, don't give up.
Yeah.
You know, like there was a period there where I was just like, making a couple $1 million. I'm doing really well. I'm doing this independently, and it's like, to do it all and run the business and live a life, and
Yeah.
then the taxes and understanding. I was literally questioning like, should I continue doing this? Like,
Yeah.
you know, and that was right around the time where Drake, who's the god, especially at that time, like in his
Yeah.
prime,
Absolutely.
saying like, yo, you got it, you know, like it really was and Larry King,
Man.
Larry King, him, there was just some things that happened there, just like
Yeah.
literally kept pushing me down that path, you know.
Sure. Is that Steve? We got Stevie running around?
Got Steve.
Missed it. Couple things that I wanted to say there. The interview that your dad is giving you is from your room, which made me laugh. Your old room, right?
Yeah, I see it. Yeah.
And
That's
there's a hilarious story that they shared when you guys it was just your parents on the YNK, and they talked about how you were like of that age where you discovered the Spice Channel, or like, you know, the little scrambler
Oh,
box,
yeah, yeah, yep, yep.
and you were like, all right, mom and dad, I'm going down to my room, I'm gonna be stretching, nobody mess with me. And like, dude,
I don't know when that was. I was probably like 12.
that he gave me the interview from that room. Hilarious. I hope you didn't
Yeah.
think that me talking to Sned about how I still enjoyed some of your hip hoppy stuff as a slight. I love everything
Oh,
you've
no, no,
done.
no.
Okay.
Yeah,
All
no.
right. Cool, man. Cool.
No, no.
Um,
I think one of my biggest takeaways from doing this for so long is it is a fascinating thing how everyone has their own taste.
Yeah.
It's something that should be celebrated. Like, I don't understand the need for people, like, especially in the arts.
Yeah.
Like, I get even the sports. You've heard me go off about sports fans and, like, how I just don't the level of entitlement and, like, how
Yeah.
players are regarded as just like, I just don't. There's a human element, there's a humanity element where I think sports fans, there's a level of entitlement and how they regard athletes and
Yeah.
a level of respect that isn't granted a lot of the time. And yeah, I don't. Well, I had a point I want to set me up again. I got lost in my thought there. Talking about music. Okay, yeah. So the music taste.
Yeah.
Yeah, like you brought up how, oh, I don't want you to take it as a slight.
Sure.
I was saying what I have realized, and it should be celebrated, is everyone's individuality of, like, what moves them. You know
Yeah.
what I mean? And
Yeah.
and I learned that a long time ago. I was one of my grandest takeaways of being a musician and paying attention is, like, you can't ever. The art is not to be made so that people like it. It's like you express it, and then the people
Beautiful.
that may like it find it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And then you can't control how they perceive it or why they like it or why they don't or why they,
Right.
even in a control group, because Only Steve's is a control group. Like, it's my control group. I'm giving them my raw freestyles. Like, they're hearing my mumble. Like, most artists would never show people, like,
Oh,
their,
I love that, dude. It's so cool.
I'm like literally just
Yeah.
showing the shit that, like, most people would be like, I'm not showing people this until I finish it or until
Speaking of
I
finish, race you home someday. I love that,
see Race You Home. That's not even on my radar as, like, a top one, but
dude.
then
I
there's,
love it.
right? So, like, that's my point. It's like, I don't care if people don't like my music or if you like this more than that. That doesn't bother me. There's no, like, there's there's a deeper understanding, I guess, over time that I gathered, which set me free creatively almost. Is like,
Yeah.
because there was a point where I was trying to figure out what is the next thing, what's the mic sound,
Right.
you know what I mean? And then the highs comes out and that works, and it's like, well, now I'm making the in betweens sounds nothing like it,
Yeah.
but it's just like I'm
Yeah.
not interested or even concerned with something because I realize there should be no concern.
Right.
It's a creative expression, and hopefully the energy and the vibration of it and the frequency of my voice and the music that I've selected and played and chose, hopefully it fucking makes you feel good. That's it. And if it doesn't, maybe the next one will, or maybe none of them will.
Yeah.
But I don't have any I'm not, like, a precious artist. I think it's pretty clear with, like, the Only Steve's thing. Like, I'm not precious about what I'm creating.
Right.
I think it finds the people it's supposed to. That's why I don't market my music.
Yeah.
I don't pay, like, to get in front of new people. That's not what I'm. It's not even. It doesn't speak to me, nor does it make sense.
Yeah.
Like, and I think you loving Toast to Tom, if you love it more, that's fire. I love that. Like, I don't want you
It's
to,
just
like,
special
oh,
to me, that,
you
like,
don't
time
like
period.
you don't like, exactly. Like,
Yeah.
that's another thing. It's like a song I make might speak to your interpretation of how the highs impacted you is like you were in the opposite of the highs, and the highs
Right.
was your balance, where there are
Yeah.
other people where the highs was the soundtrack because they were in the highs too, and then the
Sure.
lows. So I'm not
Yeah.
interested in the
I get it.
relationship to the art at all.
Yeah. Yeah.
I don't care, and I it's not what it's about, and it's also just not logical. Like, you what your life experience while you consume Toast to Tommy, it's tied to an entire chapter of your entire life experience that means so much to you that
Yeah.
maybe I'll never make another song that speaks to you the same. And that's perfect the way it is.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? That's
Yeah.
kind of my relationship to even fans, and, like,
Yeah.
how that's why I'm able to make so much music, because I'm not precious. I'm not interested in how people are going to be receiving it. It doesn't cross my mind a whole lot, to be honest.
Dude, so beautiful. We're at that kind of 30 minutes. We talked about wrapping it up here. You good to wrap it up here, then pick it up another day?
Yeah, I mean, if you
Yeah.
are, I got a little more time, but where do you feel like? Are you feel like we're at a good stop point to stop it, or you want to?
I think that there's going to be some more interesting talks when we get into the stuff with, like, the fighting and stuff like that. So I think that might be a long conversation. So if you
Okay,
want to, so
okay,
might
yeah,
be a good place to.
we could We can wrap her. Yeah, we'll
Wrap
wrap
it
it
right
and
here. All right,
we'll
guys.
pick it back up here in the next, I'm
Whenever.
down. I don't want, we won't let too much time pass here. We'll just keep it rolling.
I was
So we can,
hoping that once we sat down and did this, that you would get the kind of the feel of it and want to get.
I
Usually, guys,
already knew.
once guys are in, they usually want to get right back in and like keep going. And I can just thank you, man. I envisioned us having a connection. I was right. This has been so dang cool, dude. So thank you, my guy. Thank you,
Likewise, bro.
Stevie's out there listening. I guess we're gonna call this. I'm not sure what we're gonna chop it up into, but this might be part 1. So
Yeah.
we'll just see. So anyway, man, you got anything to say before we get on out of here?
Blessings, my guy. I'm very I think it's a great time to do this. I think your intuition, we've talked about intuition a lot.
Thank you.
Your intuition's spot on. I think
Yeah.
it's a great time for this, and that's why we're here, and
Yeah.
we'll just keep this thing rocking.
I'm gonna leave you with one funny thing here. How do you think the fans? Oh, speaking of, congratulations on Red Rocks. I have my
Thank you,
tickets.
sir.
I'm gonna be there. I'm so
Oh, do you?
excited.
Amazing.
Yeah, I have plans to even meet up with your mom and dad and meet them in person. So
Of course.
we're gonna be saying what's up. So
Of course.
I wanted to. This might be funny. How do you think the fans would react if you just tried it out, Missy Modell, and hit them with a "Can't Stop Me" just randomly through?
I think most of them would be like, "What's going on here?
What the fuck is this?
Yeah, what is this song, and who is this woman, and what are we doing here?" Oh man, that's funny. That's the first song that Kilmer produced for me.
Yeah,
In the
remember
first
seeing
video
the.
he shot for me, and
Mhm.
yeah, I mean, I vividly remember my first like encounter with John Kilmer, and
Yeah.
I thought it was really cool.
Special
I was
guy.
like, oh, this guy makes videos. Like,
Yeah, special.
I
And,
can. This is gonna be my music industry connect.
Yep.
Like it was so early.
So early.
It
And you
was
guys,
so early.
who would have known the path that you guys were about to set on? And
You
then
never know, man.
to you never know. Let's leave it with that, guys. You never know. Post game spread. We're out of here.
Cheers.